Pollution is one of the world's biggest global killers, affecting over 100 million people. That's comparable to HIV and malaria, says DoSomething.org. Global warming is a bigger issue than we give it credit for. I'm interested in this because it's not just my problem, it's all of your guys' problems too. Pollution and climate change are destroying ecosystems all across the world, and they're destroying biodiversity. And it's affecting the health of millions. If we cut back on emissions and look for cleaner energy, we can try and make a better world, a cleaner world for all of us. And that's kind of big steps, but I have a few simpler steps. So, the slow degradation of biodiversity is killing us. Biodiversity is the wide range of all the different species we have, either plants, animals, what have you. And biodiversity is really essential because with it we can find new cures, new treatments, new ways to make sure that we're staying healthy and to destroy diseases. And it also kind of gives us a wide variety of food. I don't think anybody wants to eat the same thing all the time. So ground ozone, a big thing. Ground ozone comes from cars. And ozone we think is kind of good because in the stratosphere, ozone protects us from UV rays that causes, skin cancer and a lot of other things. But ozone, when it's in the troposphere or the kind of area we're living in right now, it kind of causes lung problems for us. It causes emphysema, tightness of your chest. It can cause lung cancer and a lot of other health effects. And that's what EPA.gov says, or the Environmental Protection Agency. So there are easy ways to reduce this pollution. So we can bike, which produces no emissions. Biking is actually really, really good for all of us. DavidSuzuki.org says, 30 minutes of brisk cycling several times a week reduces the risk of developing coronary heart disease, adult diabetes, and obesity as much as 50%. And since most people don't seem to pay attention to health as much, here's a money fact from the same source. A family using transit can average transit can save them $586 a month in auto expenses. Not only taking a bike, but maybe even just taking public transportation. Buses and trains are there for all of us, and we can use them and they won't charge any more pollution because it's not going to work any harder to do the same amount of work. Walking is also another alternative, but it's not as efficient and it's a lot time consuming, but it is also healthy. So just imagine the world as it is today. Imagine Beijing. Beijing has thick smog to the point where you can't even see very far in front of you, actually. And here's a really scary statistic. According to the Huffington Post, 4,400 people die every day in China because of pollution. 4,400 people. That's a lot per day because of pollution. China is full of smog and pollution, especially in Beijing. Now people are in a panic because they really see the problem that, all these industries and cars can cause in just a small area. So just imagine if this was the world we live in. Imagine having to wear masks every single day, trying to walk around town to figure out where you're going, and you're stumbling into people, stumbling into everybody else because you can't find where you're going. And also, we are slowly destroying forests. So for example, up here is the tundra in northern Russia, or what it was. This blue over here is the tundra, and in about 20, 25 years, it'll be this small speck of blue. That's really scary, especially because every biome affects one another, even though you don't think about it. And something else, the polar ice caps are melting at crazy rates. We've lost 40% of our northern pole since 1979. That's pretty scary, especially considering the fact that we are losing ecosystems left and right. And it's kind of, it's kind of hard to think that something that has been around for millions of years is going to be gone. The polar ice caps have never completely melted, and we might get to that point. And if you think about it, we're going to lose probably, another 40% by 2025. And think about that. 2025 is only about 9 years away. That's half as old as all of us, if you really think about it. And that's kind of, that's kind of a big problem, and we really need to take care of it. So if we don't start working now, we could suffer the same consequences. I think that if we reduce pollution, we could take care of global warming. It's the simple things like watching how much you drive or watching where you get your electricity from. And it's these small and simple things that make great things happen. And it's time to decide what great thing you want to be part of.